Hi there guys, James Hamilton back for another MMA UK live stream. So this is take 2. So as I mentioned previously, we're going to discuss obviously everything that's been happening in the lead up to UFC223. I'm going to be joined by Steve Brigg, a fellow staff member at MMA UK, and we'll talk about all the craziness that's been happening this week. So just a couple of moments, hopefully this will work this time. Right, I see you Steve, let's try that. That's the invite. Oh, what a week, what a day, actually.
There I am.
How embarrassing. Me and you're supposed to be quite experienced at this now and still managed to fuck up.
Whoa, you've done more than me now.
Well, anyway, we've got it on. I guess the best thing is to start from the beginning of this week. So, start initially for Tony pulling out. So leading that, all the talk between Khabib and Tony, and I know Tony was sort of harping on Khabib about pulling out of fights, and then obviously Tony has trips over a cable while wearing his sunglasses inside, injures his knee out of the fight. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the thing I loved about this whole thing is everyone, for the whole build-up, as soon as this fight was announced, was everyone presumed Khabib would get injured, or Khabib would eat too much tiramisu and just be fat for the fight. And then the week before the fight, Tony was posting videos of him kicking a metal post and showing how good his conditioning was. And then, what was it, the night, April Fool's night at like midnight, it got announced, Tony Ferguson is out, and everyone's still, I think, a bit like, still April Fool's, is this a bit? But yeah, you can't write the shit that's gone down this week. This has been, I think I've been involved in MMA since like 2004. I don't think I've ever seen a week this mental. But even just ignoring everything else, just the fact that we've lost Khabib and Tony Ferguson as a fight is, this is like the 4th or 5th time we've lost this fight now?
Fourth time this fight's been booked. Obviously, I saw something where somebody commented about Tony wearing his sunglasses inside, and then he had wrote back that he wasn't wearing his sunglasses inside, he was wearing his prescription sunglasses inside. So his other sunglasses, basically, I think this just proves the point that there is no good that comes of wearing sunglasses inside.
That's what you get for trying to be cool.
And you think, after that, you think, right, that's a bit crazy what's happened, that'll be us now, we'll get a new fight booked. That was the tip of the iceberg, really. So I think it was Brian Ortega accepted the fight. They'd already asked Max Holloway, but then Max Holloway eventually come back and said he would take the fight. So you think, right, Max normally fights at 145. 155 shouldn't be a massive issue. Obviously, we know what happened there, but something else happened.
I think throughout the week is Max's coach has said that he does cut a lot of weight, and I don't think they'd have ever admitted it, but I think they were a bit concerned about his weight. He's obviously a big 145 guy. He did look bigger than Khabib in the weigh-ins, or the media presser beforehand. So it's obviously a lot of weight for the guy to cut. But I mean, that was a good fight. I mean, I know everyone's saying that Max doesn't have a ground game and what have you, but let's face it, if you're fighting Khabib, no one's really going to have any form of ground game on 6 days' notice, especially that can hang with Khabib Nurmagomedov. That guy's a level above. So for Max to even, most lightweights aren't jumping at the opportunity to take that fight. I mean, surely if you're a UFC lightweight fighter, if the opportunity's there to fight for the title on any notice, you should be like, yep, there's my name, throw it in the hat. But for Max and Brown, I'll take it to step up and be like, yeah, I'll have that fight on 6 days' notice is brilliant. But yeah, that hasn't gone well either. So we've lost. So on the timeline now, we've lost Tony and Max.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the bad point of this week, was it? I mean,
no, because obviously before we entered the manicness, it was the day there was an incident. Just quickly, guys, if you get any questions about this or any comments you want to throw in, please do that as we're talking. And hello, Ross Houston. beer like it. I should have grabbed one myself, but I didn't. So yeah, there was an incident between Khabib and Artem Lobov where he sort of cornered him in the hall. I didn't really feel that there was much in it. He put his hand in a wee slap in the head. I mean, what did you think about that? Do you think it was much or nothing?
I mean, first of all, hi guys, I've not seen you in a while. How you doing? I mean, yeah, I mean, Artem's clearly said something. Artem's not exactly a quiet character. He's not going to have gone over and tried to shake Khabib's hand, and Khabib's not going to go over and got in his face for no reason whatsoever. I imagine something's been said about Conor, and I imagine it's probably down to Conor badgering Khabib, and then Khabib having to go at Conor on social media, and Artem's probably had some kind of stop trying to attack my man kind of thing, being all defensive his lover kind of thing. So not a lot of it. I mean, it's not enough to escalate to what has happened this week, but I don't. Yeah, there's no real justification for anything. But from what it looked like, nothing really happened between, like you said, Khabib just put his hand on the back of Artem's head and maybe gave him a little slap round the chops, but
yeah,
nothing malicious to it.
I believe that actually stemmed from an interview Artem done. It was an interview in Russian where he commented about maybe Khabib pulling out of fights, and I think he kind of called him a pussy or something along those lines. So obviously that's what's got Khabib's back up. But then following that, the next day, I think Conor's obviously filled up his private jet with guys, flew out to New York. It's like a movie. Flew out to New York, got his media team that are inside to come and open the door to let them all in, and then decided it'd be a good idea to attack the fighters bus.
I mean, you literally couldn't write it. It is literally like the scene of some. It's like some kind of MMA movie. The way that you see all the videos that gone around the viral videos of people on the phones filming the Mac Life guys letting Conor and all his cronies all them guys in through the back door and then all piling through, and it's just how that's happened and gone under a radar is just absolutely mental. For whatever reason it's happened is bizarre, but there's no explanation of. I mean, John Jones used to be MMA's asshole. Yeah, I think Conor McGregor has just pipped him to it. I mean, I used to have big rants about how much I dislike John Jones, but I think now I could like John Jones again after what Conor's just done. But I imagine we don't have to explain a lot about what has just happened, because I imagine everyone has seen the news that, I mean, it's been everywhere what has gone on. Yeah. But I mean, where do we even start from this point?
I think it's the effect he's had on the. I mean, if you look at the card, right, first and foremost, Artem Lobov, I think he's potentially done in the UFC. He's not a big enough name. He was involved in it, so that's him and Alex Caceres. That fight's gone. So Alex, I don't know if the UFC will pay him or not. Obviously, he's not made weight. So Alex Caceres will go off. Mike Chiesa, obviously, was supposed to be fighting Anthony Pettis. He's got facial injuries. So
I mean, yeah, he's got lacerations all over his face, hasn't he? So it's like nose, hairline, and cheek. And that's the thing that pisses me off more than anything about this, is the fact that obviously Conor's got beef with Khabib and his team, but he's now injured everyone but Khabib and his team. Like what he took out, Michael Chiesa, like you were just saying, with facial injuries from throwing a sack trolley, a dolly trolley through a window, which is quite a heavy. If that had gone through the window properly and hit someone, that could have done someone a lot of injuries. They're heavy things. Absolutely. So he cut Michael Chiesa's face. He's got glass particles in Ray Borg's eye, who's a former title challenger. Shook up Rose Namajunas, who is a champion fighting for her title this weekend, which can't be easy for her. It's like my friend Gaz Young has just said on the comments. It comes across a bit American wrestling, as far fetched as it is. It does feel like something you would see on like Monday Night Raw, harking back to like the days where like a wrestler would come back and throw shit through a window kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously they say no publicity is bad publicity, but you know, it's been pretty bad publicity. It's not good, not for the casual fan, especially when you've got the biggest name ever in the sport. It seems to be, I don't know I don't think he knows what he was thinking, but I believe he spoke to Dana White and he felt his actions were justified. How he justified them, I don't know.
I don't get how, I don't care how big a name you think you are, how much money you've made. There's no way you can justify just going into a building and just causing chaos, hurting people. I think they broke one of the staff's knuckles. They've broken property. What Conor's been charged with 3 counts of assault. Yeah. And I said this to my wife earlier. I never want to get arrested. I never justify people getting arrested. But if I ever get arrested, I'd love to get arrested for criminal mischief. That's one of Conor's counts for arrest. What is criminal mischief?
It sounds like something from, you remember the old cartoons for like Dick Dastardly and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It sounds like something Dick Dastardly would get arrested for. He was very mischievous.
Yeah, Top Cat would get arrested for criminal mischief. That sounds quite a fun thing. That sounds like, I don't know, that sounds just bizarre.
Apparently it is a felony though, from what I see. Just something we had there, Peter Knox asking regarding punishment for Conor. Now, I don't know what you've watched, but for the interviews I've seen of Dana, it almost seemed to me like the UFC were saying, you know what, the police will punish him, we won't. That's the impression I sort of got anyway. I don't know if you had a different view on that, but if you're listening to Dana, that's kind of what I picked up on.
I mean, I watched the live video he did straight after with my wife, and the way we both looked at it did seem like Dana was kind of separating himself a bit from it. From that moment, he was very much like, well, we're taking a step back. This isn't, the police have come to us with this, the police are doing that. It felt kind of like they are leaving the police to do their bit. And then I think they're kind of doing the right thing. I mean, they could go the normal Dana way of doing stuff and just being like, bang, you're out, you're fired, what have you. But I think he's doing the right thing and sitting on it a little bit, waiting to see what happens, and then hopefully make a good judgment and hopefully punish Conor. If he goes down the kind of John Jones route they did and just leave John Jones for a year and then throw him back into a title shot, then that's just making a mockery of the sport. But there wasn't any clear indication as to what they were going to do with that. I think from what Dana was saying, he was thinking about doing stuff. He did say he wasn't going to help Conor on this one.
Yeah.
So I think he's just really just trying to cut the UFC apart from it a little bit and just make it look like it is Conor on his own and not the UFC fighter acts out. It's just Conor acts out as opposed to, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's no real clear indication of what they're doing.
Depending on obviously what happens with obviously Conor's due back in court, I believe in June, depending on what happens there and the charges, Conor might not get licensed and he might not get a visa for the US if he gets charged with a felony. I don't think he'll get a visa. Which
no, if you've got a criminal record, it makes it incredibly hard to get. I mean, people like Saul Rogers, they struggled to get. That's why Saul Rogers was pulled off the UFC card, because he didn't declare background checks properly. So I mean, Conor's going to struggle if those charges do get properly put through. Then he's going to struggle to get back into the USA for any big cards, which is going to take out a lot of his marketability. Except if he fights Khabib in Russia, maybe. That's
what could potentially happen. The US government don't give a fuck who you are, to be quite honest. So I think with that one with Conor, we'll just need to wait and see. Now, you would have thought with the week that we've had that there's been that would be it. That's the maddest thing that could happen. Turns out there was more twists and turns. So obviously we spoke about the Conor stuff. We got to this morning. Got up and boom, Max Holloway out. What was your initial thoughts when you saw that Max Holloway pulled?
I mean, the first time I saw this, it was Pete that mentioned it we've got like a little Facebook group, and he mentioned it in that, and I thought he was taking the piss. I thought there's no way Max has gone as well. And then look a few places and you see, Max is being pulled on medical grounds because they wouldn't let him cut weight. I mean, the thing I liked about that is, obviously Max has taken the fight knowing he's heavy and he's going to struggle. And then he had to make 155 exactly. He got down to 159 before he got pulled. And, he did the classic thing and he apologised to Khabib. He put on Twitter, I'm sorry, I tried my hardest. You don't deserve this kind of thing. You could tell he genuinely would have gone till he was on the floor, I think, to cut weight.
Yeah.
But to lose him, it's it is. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that believes in curses. I kind of thing. But if you could ever say something was cursed, then you'd think this event is cursed. I mean, even things like Kevin Lee, his flight's now grounded in Vegas. He can't get out to the 25th anniversary presser. It's just so much weird shit is going on around this event that it's just bizarre. Gareth, is there any chance he has done this to avoid? I mean, yeah, that's the point that's brought up as well. Has Khabib done this to avoid fighting Conor? This is kind of what people thought last time he had that outbreak, wasn't it? That when he was due a big fight, he had this crazy outburst, and people straight away were like, he's doing this to get banned to avoid a big fight. There's been a lot of tinfoil hat theories going on about this whole thing as well, isn't there?
Well, so the thing I would suggest is this is the one job. That's the one job in the world where if you've got a major issue with somebody who's around your size, weight, you're actually allowed to go and punch him in the face and get paid for it. So I did think about that. I mean, you would have thought that if McGregor had such an issue with Khabib, why not just go to the fights, get in the cage after it, or something along those lines, and then get that massive fight booked in Russia? Not to say that still won't happen, but
I mean, that's what Dana said in his little video. He said, why do it that way? You could have had him in the cage and you could have done anything within the rules of the UFC for 25 minutes to him and got away with it completely free. But yeah, it's I don't get it. It's bizarre. But detracting from the whole Conor thing again for a second. So we lost Max. Max went out through the doctors being wankers and pulling him out.
Did George Lockhart not actually say that Max would have made the weight? Did he? I'm sure he made.
I think his nutritionist was confident from the start of the week that he was going to make it, but even he did say it was going to be a hard cut. I mean, even if you're 4 pounds over in 6 days, it's if you've not been training to cut the weight, like they said at the start of the weight, normally they'll have started a few days out and started cutting water. And then at the time of the 6-day period, they'd have literally just had water to cut, which is what you want to do in the last week. You literally just want to be cutting water. Yeah. But even they said, we have got a bit of fat to cut, but Max is already pretty trim at the minute. So it's, I mean, that he's probably weight-wise in this situation where it would have probably been normally 2 weeks out before a fight, not 6 days.
And he would have been in camp as well, which is going to be shifting weight.
I mean, for a fan's point of view, it's shit, but from like health and safety kind of view, it is good that the doctors probably stopped it, because I mean, guys like Max are going to do that until they hurt themselves to do it, because he's that kind of proud Hawaiian heritage where he will just go till he's got nothing left. So it's probably good in a way they did it, but for the rest of us, again, it's shit that he got cut from it.
Well, it's sort of the one thing this card did have is it did have quite a few lightweights on it. So we set it up that way. So that was maybe the only kind of saving grace. Obviously, with regards to Pettis, what was your initial thoughts? Because Pettis was the first name that came up, obviously because he lost his opponent.
I mean, the three names that were obvious were obviously Pettis because he lost to Chiesa, so he was without a fight. Felder and Iaquinta, but I mean, Pettis had previous caliber. He used to be a champion. Yeah. He has had good runs before, but he has been on a slump. I think he's lost 5 of his last 7. Yeah. So on paper, you wouldn't really look at him and think it's a worthwhile fight, but he has got the pedigree to take those fights. But I mean, my point on that was, look at the fight he had with RDA. RDA battered him. Yep. And then Khabib out-wrestled RDA, so you can't think that if Khabib could out-wrestle RDA, then Khabib's going to maul Pettis, you would think. But, I mean, Pettis has got good kicks, he's got good strikes, he's got flashy shit. It was an interesting matchup, but it was a very similar to a Max Holloway one, a good striker with not much in terms of wrestling. The only difference is that Pettis probably has a better game off his back. He's very quick hips. He's got quick arm bars, and I mean, just look what he did to Benson Henderson back in the day. He snatched an armbar off him extremely quickly. But I don't think a Russian guy, you're going to get that easily on, except if you pull Craig in the last quarter of a second of a fight. You're going to struggle to do that, I think, especially against a guy like Khabib. He's not going to quit like whoever that guy was. I thought I wasn't so keen on the Pettis fight, but it was a good option. I mean, what were your thoughts on it?
As good a fighter as Pettis is, you've got to look at. He's went down to 45, he's coming back up. He seems to be struggling now. The one thing he does have is a good ground. I think all the stuff on the feet, I think he would have been on his back fairly quickly. I didn't really like Pettis' chances in that fight. I don't even know if Pettis would have liked his own chances in that fight. So sometimes confidence is a big part of this game, and I don't know if Pettis has that at the moment. But if you get offered the fight and it's for the title, if you can make the weight, you're going to. But there was other fights here I felt were better, but Pettis looked like the one that was going to happen due to the fact that Chiesa was out. To be quite honest with you, the fight I would have wanted to see, we won't see it, is Brian Ortega versus Khabib. So Pettis, I didn't like his chances. And then obviously, I think Pettis was only 0.2 off making the weight, and he had 2 hours to do it. And then I'm not sure if he actually made the weight, but then the money issues come into it.
He had the 2-hour window, and then he tried to barter his purse. I think he tried to ask for $1 million to fight Khabib. UFC offered him a lower purse, and then he declined to go back on the scales to make the weight down, which I don't get. I mean, $1 million is a big ask. I mean, I imagine the UFC probably we'll give you like 300, 500, something like that. But then to just say no and then not have a fight, surely it's worth taking the fight, chance winning a title, and then getting money that way, as opposed to just being the guy who turned down Khabib. Yeah. Only taking the fight for money and then showing that you probably haven't got the confidence. If you'd had the confidence and wasn't technically scared of Khabib, what's the money got to do with it? You know you're going to win the title anyway, and that's gives you the leverage then to ask for more money, surely.
I think with his purse, I think his purse was 150,000. He asked for $1 million. The UFC come back with another offer. You've got to think it's probably going to be between 300,000 to 400,000. You would imagine at least.
Yeah.
So, in worst case scenario, goes in, he gets smushed by Khabib, and to be honest, is there anybody out there that would have thought anything else was going to happen in the fight? So Pettis has got more money, but regardless, he didn't take it. And then in steps the Irish Dragon himself, Paul Felder, a gentleman who you've interviewed. He's made weight exactly 155, wants to fight, and the commission says no.
I mean, that's a joke. I mean, like you said, I've interviewed Paul, and Paul's an absolute star. He's a great guy. And he's straight away, it's like, I'm championship weight, I'm 155, straight. And then he is the kind of guy that will just go, yeah, I'll take the fight. And he'll go in there to try and knock Khabib out. He won't be scared of Khabib. He'll go in there and he'll try and knock Khabib out. He might lose. Again, he's probably not got the best ground game for the fight. He trains with Pettis, but he would have made a good fight of it. And for the commission to turn around and go, no, you can't fight because you're ranked number 15, you're not a worthy contender for a UFC title, bollocks. I mean, the commission shouldn't be able to justify who fights for a title. They should only be able to clear guys based on medical grounds, really. They shouldn't be able to justify you're number 15, you can't fight. That's absolute joke in my mind.
My opinion on that would be it's the New York Commission. They're fairly new. I don't think they understand how the ranking system works in MMA because it's predominantly journalists who are deciding the ranking system. And if you want to look back, I believe TJ Dillashaw fought Joe Soto. And that went through. I know commissions are slightly different. So yeah, that one's really surprised me that the commission would do that, especially New York, who are not always known as the most upstanding and and best commission around. They have some history. So yeah, that then took us obviously to the last man, Ali Quinta. So they finally just got the fight confirmed not that long ago. There was only one stumbling block, which was the weight, which he weighed in at 155.2. So the fight get done. Obviously, it's a title fight for Khabib, non-title fight for Al. Which props to Al for actually getting in there on a day's notice, and he can't even win the title. The only thing I was thinking with that is, I know he didn't make exactly 155, but there is a precedent again before with a fighter just slightly missing out in the weight, and then a commission taking into account the weight of the clothing they're wearing.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I know with title bouts, they have to be bang on weight. They don't have any leeway. But I mean, my thought on that is, Al didn't know he was meant to be hitting championship weight until literally an hour ago.
Yeah.
Surely he should have had the chance to make some form of difference in that way. For a 0.2 pound difference, for a guy who's willing to take the fight on 24 hours notice, there should be a precedent for that. The guy's taken a bad fight. I mean, he said earlier in the year he would only fight Khabib for $1 million. Who wants to fight Khabib? Khabib's a beast, blah, blah, blah. So that shows that he's just trying to save the show kind of thing. I mean, Marcus is making a good point in the comments. If Al does win, who's the lightweight champ? Is Conor still the champ?
I genuinely don't.
Has Tony been stripped to the interim now?
It's so murky at the moment about this. So yeah, if Al wins, I would then say that there probably isn't a lightweight champ. Then you're going to have a vacant belt, because you can't have an interim champ and not a. And you can't have two guys fight, one guy fighting for a belt and not, and it's so wacky what's going on now. But what I think, if Al wins this fight, and it's a big if, that Al, surely his next fight is for the title, where he has a camp.
The thing that's going to be fun for this, if Al wins, he's not exactly a quiet person when it comes to UFC bosses. No. He is going to go. He's going to be one loud person if he wins this fight. He's not going to shut up if he wins this fight. But to be fair, he's not going to shut up if he loses this fight. He's going to think he's #1 contender from this fight. So it's going to be interesting either way with him, what his next plan is from this.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's been such a weird day, and if Al wins, the lightweight division explodes. That's what I think.
I mean, I don't even know where you'd put Al in the rankings, because you can't put him up to #1 because there's a bunch of guys ahead of him who, no offense to Al, but way better than him. So he's currently ranked around number 13. To go from 13 to beating the guy who's fighting for a title, but you're not fighting for a title, that leaves you in a very odd position of where you'd go. But I mean, it's a dream for Al. I mean, it's in his kind of home state, and it's a huge fight. I mean, it's a terrible fight. I mean, who wants to fight Khabib on a day's notice? That's asking just to get humped for 25 minutes whilst getting punched in the face.
Well, Khabib talked to Dana.
Say that again, sorry.
Sorry, I said, yeah, you get humped for 25 minutes while Khabib has a chat with Dana.
I mean, just look what he did to Barbosa. Look what he did to Michael Johnson. The only person who I think realistically in any form of weight group near him that can out-wrestle Khabib is probably Ben Askren. And the UFC won't sign him because Dana finds him boring. But until then, there's no one that's going to out-wrestle Khabib.
No one that's got to wrestle him, but I don't know what you think about this. Obviously, T-City, I think he could be an issue for Khabib on the ground, because although Khabib's wrestling is out of this world, I don't think there's anybody in the UFC, especially around, I would even include like for Dumoulin, who is as dangerous off their back than Brian Ortega. That guy is special off his back.
I mean, yeah, I'd agree that Brian has got incredible jiu-jitsu, but I've always been of the opinion that if you're a very good top game wrestler, that is a very hard game for a jiu-jitsu guy. It's very hard to be a good jiu-jitsu guy off your back when you've got a guy who's that good on top of you. Because Khabib will know perfectly how to shut down jiu-jitsu game. The best way for Ortega in that fight is like he did to Cub Swanson, just in transitions, in the craziness, just jump for something and hope it sticks with like a guillotine or something. But he's not going to get something off his back against a guy like Khabib, I think.
You never know. I know. We've had Marcus asking there if Khabib wins, who do you think Khabib fights next?
I mean, that's again, is an interesting question. I mean, Dana said he's never going to book Tony and Khabib again, but you can say that. But what happens if Khabib wins? He's the champ. Tony's still logically number one contender.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just not book Tony and Khabib if Tony's the number one contender. You can't just keep passing him over. I mean, there's guys like Kevin Lee. You've got so many guys. It's just you can't just pass over Tony. But it is seemingly a jinx matchup that those two are never going to fight for some odd reason. So I don't really know. Who would you book it?
I think Tony. I know Dana said that he wouldn't book the fight again, but Dana says a lot of things in the heat of the moment. And then he said there was never going to be women fighting in the UFC. We've got a women co-main event tomorrow, so we've got a few women's divisions now. So I would take what Dana says in the heat of the moment with a pinch of salt. I think Tony, I don't think it'll be Conor. I think Conor's going to be dealing with some serious legal issues, not only with the New York themselves, he's going to be dealing with a few lawsuits as well. So that 100 million Conor's got there's going to be some bites taken out of that, I think. But I think Tony's got it. But then Tony's injuries, he could be out for a while with that one.
I mean, I'd Pete Smith, but I quite like them to book Max again. I mean, get a double champ who's actually willing to defend both belts. Max would be a fun fight, I think. Just reading on another media outlet, it's okay, McGregor, because Justin Bieber says we all make mistakes. So if Bieber's got your back, it's all right.
That's probably a thing that things are not going good, to be quite honest.
you know you're doing bad when Bieber's like, it's okay.
The thing is, we were saying there about Max, but then if Max were to come up and fight Khabib next, that just leaves the featherweight division in a mess because Brian Ortega's. That's the only thing
I think that's the problem at the minute with all these fights going here, there, and everywhere, and everyone's just all over the place in the division. I mean, they just need. But I think once the lightweight champion's sorted with, say, Khabib or whoever, as long as Khabib wins this fight, that kind of settles the lightweight division a bit.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the featherweight division's in a good place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Max wants to go, it's not the end of the world if he goes for one fight up. But yeah, like people are saying, Brand does deserve his title shot. His last few performances have been outstanding, and he would be an interesting fight for Max. I think Max does take him, though.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's a fight I'm really looking forward to. Now that we've sort of covered all the madness, let's have a quick look at the card. We won't spend too much time on it. I'll just run through the fights now that I know are definitely on the main. So obviously Khabib and Ali Aquinta. Just give me quickly your picks on them. Who do you think?
Khabib by barefuck for 25 minutes.
25
and then a slow and painful stoppage in the fourth round.
I agree. I didn't see Tony beating Khabib. I don't see Al beating Khabib, unfortunately. So I think Khabib wins there. Probably a harder fight to pick is we've got Comey and Rose, Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
See, I've been a fan of Rose for a long time. I like her chances again in this. I don't think the first fight was a fluke. She's a very focused individual with a very special mindset, and I think she can upset the former champ again. JJ hasn't really got that finishing instinct. She doesn't really finish fights that much. She does tend to pot shot people a lot and just pick them apart. Whereas Rose will go and try and kill her. If Rose gets you hurt, Rose will put her away. And I think Rose can put her away again. I don't think the first fight was a fluke.
Do you know what? I had a long think about this, and I actually think Joanna beats everybody. Sometimes you just get those two fighters that one just always has it, like Jones DC sort of thing, and I think that's the same here. I think Rose, personally, I think she wins the fight myself. I don't think she wins by stoppage. I think it will go the distance. I think she wins the fight. So we're agreed. We're agreed so far. Next we've got Calvin Kattar versus Hanato Moicano.
I don't really know much about this fight, to be quite honest with you. I'd be picking completely out the air. I can't even pick out the air. I don't really know much about that fight, to be honest. What's your picks on it?
Calvin Kattar. I've seen him fighting more. I like him. He likes a good fighter, so I would fancy him. The next fight, I mean, we're pulling fights up, so you might not know this one. This one, I believe, was up as well. That's Kyle Bochniak versus, I believe this guy trains with Matt Serra Ray Longo, Zabit Magomed Shapiro. So just know that name.
See, Zabit, I do actually know. Zabit is an absolute monster from Russia. He's another Russian savage. He's one of the top prospects coming up so far in the UFC from the lower rankings. I think he's going to do another Russian hit squad on this guy and muller this Paul Cal.
I think I think he lost his last fight, but that was a very iffy. I didn't feel he lost that fight at all, so I would go Zabit. Obviously, the last fight was Felder and Iaquinta, but that's not. That's all. What do you think happens with Felder, actually? What do you think's going to happen there? Do you think Pettis
the only fight he's really got on the card would be Pettis, but whether the UFC are willing to give Pettis a fight after he's tried to draw $1 million out of them, I don't know. But again, they're teammates, so I doubt they're going to take the fight on each other on a day's notice for teammates. It's a bit of a hard situation to fight your teammate anyway, let alone on a day's notice. It depends how much they just want that fight. I mean, you get some guys who just want, like Khabib will just take anyone right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, neither of them have to take that fight. They'll both probably get their show money. I think both of them don't get a fight tomorrow night.
No, I would agree with you. I think the teammates, I know they've not been teammates for that long though. Felder's not been there. It's not like he's been there for 10 years or anything. But I don't think they fight. But the card, I think it initially started with 13 fights, so we're now down to 10 fights? Not even that. 1, 2, 9 fights for winning the card. Should they keep this a pay-per-view? Obviously, it's not applicable for us, but people in America would be paying $79 for this.
I'd be very put out if I had to pay for this card. You've lost the main attraction about 4 times now. Khabib versus Al's a clutching at straws fight at best. I mean, Connor's ruined this card's attraction. No one's talking about any of the fights. I mean, it's like the whole thing. Does anyone even realise Bellator's on? That Connor has ruined MMA this weekend for everyone. No one knows what's happening. Everyone knows Khabib might be fighting. They don't know who. It's not a pay-per-view. No one really cares anymore. Everyone's so confused. It's bizarre. And then we're just getting Peanut saying USDA has just announced Ben Rothwell has accepted a 2-year sanction for violation of the UFC anti-doping policy after testing positive for the presence of an anabolic androgenic steroid. Well done, Ben Rothwell.
Let's just finish up by throwing the cherry on top for combat sports. Triple G Canelo, that fight is gone as well. What a week.
Goodbye.
Fantastic.
Well, one of my other friends was just asking for a tip of the day, so we'll end on a fun note. If we gave you £10, James, who would your £10 go on and how would they win?
My £10, if I was trying to make some money, would go on. Do you know what? I'd actually put it on Rose, but I'd put it on for another first round finish.
I'd fully agree. £10, Rose Namajunas, first round knockout. That'd be my tip of the day as well.
Well, that's the end to this crazy week. Thanks for jumping on, Steve. Appreciate it, mate. We'll catch up again, obviously after this week's done.
turn my phone off and sit in a dark room, I think, and just rock back and forth and hope no one else pulls out in 24 hours.
Yeah, I'm emotionally drained. I need to sleep now.
Bizarre week.
I know. Anyway, just before we let you go, guys, if you like the videos we put up, please like and share our Facebook page. Also, if you go to our Instagram and Twitter, follow us. Both are at WeAreMMAuk, and of course our YouTube channel there. If you subscribe to that there, and you can get Steve's weekly news roundup every week. How good's that?
What more do you want in life?
That's it.
It's 2.5 minutes long this week, for fuck's sake.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for speaking to me, Steve. I'll see you later. Right.
See you later.